himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on, so Nuoff in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
Say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the round pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down it towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
On to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot have fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Hello everybody and welcome back to the OGRL Coffee Cup. It's time after a 2-week break to go racing again, and this time it is at Mount Panorama Bathurst where we take on our 7th round. It's myself, Ian O'Leary and James Parfitt alongside me for what should be a very interesting round of this championship. A big grid once again, as we always have. More than 40 in the field just in practice. We're about to get qualifying underway, a session which will be very important, of course. But what an iconic venue to go to. Mount Panorama Bathurst is one of the most iconic circuits in all of motorsport. Produces fantastic racing, I've got to say. And we're looking forward to what is hopefully going to be a good race at what we're returning to, our shorter distance here for round 7.
Yeah, I think this circuit's going to be very, very interesting for some of these. We know the rules of Bathurst, right? We've been here multiple times. You survive the mountain and make your overtake down the Conrod Straight. Same thing. You can get them going down from Forest Elbow down into Murray's, which is down the Conrod and through the Chase Chicane, up to Hell Corner, up to Quarry. After that, you're not making an overtake. So you cannot jeopardize yourself at the top of the mountain. You need to make sure they can get past before or after the mountain section, because let's put it this way, if they go for it during the mountain, too wide doesn't work. So they're going to have to be careful on what they're going to do there.
Certainly are. Let's have a look at the championship standings. We've had 6 rounds of this championship already, of course, and so let's have a look at where we're standing with those. Starting with the AMs, this is the on the right-hand side, the way they're adding up after their drop round has been applied, and that means that Gary Spencer and Daniel Murray are only separated by 6 points. I'm doing the maths live. James Hillerix is in 3rd place, just ahead of JT Sawyer, who made a fantastic start to the season. Remember his race at Spa at round 2 was phenomenal, and unfortunately since then he's had a few off rounds, so he's dropped to 4th ahead of Mike Elliott. Then Joey Mains another further point behind. Heath Ollinger is next ahead of Scott Carlson, Ben Groves and Jose Valentin to round out the top 10 there. You can see the rest on your screen of the 25 AMs in this field. The Pro-Ams are headed by Quentin Price. That's 5 points between he and Bradley Tidwell. Mark Bolton is third at Aperno Hanno and Michael Champlin. Brian Hoskins is tied for 5th with Champlin. Then it's Kenny Bourgeois, only another point behind. Then William Bailey. Bit of a gap back to Aaron Gunzel and Barry Acker. And then the rest follow on from that. And finally, the pros. At the very top, it's Josh Herring and Sean Riley. Riley missing a round, and so his points, when you look at them without the drop round, don't look quite as impressive as Herring, but they are locked together as things stand. Bradley Lovings is there or thereabouts. Expect to see those 3 challenging again today. Cole Modricks is a little bit further behind with Jeremy Cheney 5th. It's Richard Modric in 6th ahead of Billy Backer, then Brian Dukowski, who is 8th ahead of Ryan Merriam, who won the opening round of the championship, and then Alan Purser to round out the top 10. As I say, the rest are on your screen. We've had a lot of drivers through this series this season, and that's a great thing, of course, but all the championships very close after the opening 6 rounds, which is very encouraging, including the overall championship, which is absolutely locked together. That's a fantastic thing for us heading into the next 6 rounds of the season.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting one. Now, people, obviously, if you don't know what the OGRL are doing this season, it's a 4-season calendar, right? And you do 6 weeks, then we have 2-week break, then we have 6 weeks, then we have 2-week break, then we have a 6 weeks, and then a 2-week break. This will go right till February the 16th next year. Okay, so that's how it's going to work. There will be 4 calendars. We're starting season 2 technically with Bathurst, then we're heading to VIR, then we're off to Le Mans in a couple of weeks, Phillip Island after that. Now I dread to see 40 odd cars go around Phillip Island. I think that's going to be absolutely chaotic. Imola on October the 13th, and then we round off the season on October the 20th for the Nürburgring GP. Then we will have another 2-week break, should we say, and then we start again on November the 10th, 17th, 24th. We will be breaking for Thanksgiving. Now, this will run until December the 22nd, season number 3, and then we will go into season 4 once we have that 2-week break as well, the final season, which will be 12th, 19th, 26th of January, and then the 2nd, 9th, and 16th of February. So there's... Although season 1 for some of these drivers didn't go so well, there is season 2, 3 and 4 to get them points on the board, and I think that's the important thing for these guys to remember, is there is a 4-season spread of points that these guys can get. So Phillip Island will be amazing with all these cars. It'll be great racing. Salty Sailor, I kind of don't know if I agree with you. I think Phillip Island turn 1 is going to be absolutely horrendous, especially when you've got 40 cars rushing down there after a pace lap, Mr. O'Leary. I don't know how you will feel about Phillip Island.
I'm going to agree. I think Phillip Island's going to be good. I'm looking forward to Phillip Island. I like watching around there. I like driving the circuit as well. I think it's not, nice and flowing, and it's a good circuit for that. So yeah, I'll back that. I think Phillip Island would be good. I'm more worried about VIR and Imola, to be honest with you. VIR can be a interesting race from time to time. It's not a circuit I enjoy driving. It's not a circuit very easy to drive on either, I think. No. And Imola as well, going to be a very difficult one to overtake. However, even when we had those circuits last season, I remember doing the Belle Isle race and Mugello as well, I think I did last season. Those were good races, despite being traditionally not very easy to overtake on. So actually this series doesn't seem to matter which circuit it goes to. It is still going to be good racing wherever. So maybe we can't really be too negative about any of the circuits, because it's going to be the same good racing regardless.
Well, I kind of know where you're going with it. I'm just worried about the size of cars and tracks. Phillip Island's not the widest circuit. Now, VIR, I'm going to need to check on the confirmation of the circuit layout. Now, whether or not that's going to be the full, 20 odd turns of VIR, or it's going to be the shorter VIR full. So I'll be interested to see which one they're going to do. Can't quite see the sessions as of yet to see which ones they are, but it's going to be interesting to find out nevertheless. And I think, let me see if I can I see all the seasons? Oh no, I can only see Mount Panorama. So it'd be interesting to know whether or not it's the full layout, or just the GP layout.
I think
it's got multiple.
Based on the rules document, I don't think it's the one you're referring to is where they turn right on the back straight. And
there's 20 odd corners.
Yeah, I think it's about 26, 28, something.
It's ridiculous.
Based on the rules document, I don't think it is that. However, could be. I don't know. But I don't think so. We'll put it that way. And by the way, the Nürburgring GP layout is the full Grand Prix circuit with the fast chicane, not the slow chicane. So that's something to bear in mind, but that's a long way away of October. Let's tell you about some of the times coming through. David Van Roy is quickest so far in the Mustang, which is no longer the newest car in this field, because we've got McLarens in the field, as we've just been watching. Quentin Price is the first of the McLarens so far, in 6th position in the field, and there's a view at him going into towards turn number 2. And a good afternoon to Torina Chatamu again. Is rooting for Quentin Price again, so a good morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you are in the world, watching us here today. Kevin Barland says Imola looks like a good track to GT3s, but hasn't tried them in iRacing. I don't know. As I say, I think the circuit is almost going to be irrelevant for how the racing is going to be in this series. I just think Imola generally can provide some pretty mundane racing from time to time. That's all.
It's like the Hungaro Ring, isn't it? You've either got it all or nothing at the Hungaro Ring. I don't know about Kevin Byland's request of GT3s at Cadwell Park.
For the most part, bar 2 rounds of the final 12, we've got a free selection of tracks. Well, it's not a free selection of tracks, but the tracks have not been selected yet as far as the rules document goes for 10 of the last 12 rounds. So, it's not impossible. GT3s at Cadwell Park could be a laugh.
I kind of feel that the width of Cadwell Park, the lack of overtakes will be somewhat obvious. I think it'll be like a Monaco-esque GT3 race. Now, I want to pick up on one person who does not like this circuit, apparently, according to Bradley Lovins at this moment in time. I can't tell you officially what he's put in Discord, but he's not happy. He don't like the circuit, and he just said his car is slow for Bradley Lovins. So unfortunately, Mr. Lovins is not having a good time at Bathurst. Be interested to see how he gets on, but he doesn't like it. Let's put it that way.
well, he's wrong, but fine.
Well, I think that's just a driver's prerogative, isn't it? You know what I mean? When they're not driving well, like he isn't, and he can't get his car hooked up properly, he's got salty, as poor old Bradley. So on that one, but Michael Dione going over the line. How's he going to do? He goes on pole 2:03.986. Go on, Michael, son. Look at that.
There we go. First 2:03. I don't think that's going to be the last 2:03, actually, based on what we saw in practice. I think Ryan Merriam and David Van Broy especially have got something left in the tank yet. And Damian Hoverton was very quick in practice as well, so watch out for him in the first of the Porsches. 6 different manufacturers, by the way, in the top 6 right now. BMW leads Ford, Audi, Porsche, Ferrari and Lamborghini. This is what GT3 racing is all about. The manufacturer variety in the field is fantastic in the OGRL. As we go over the line here, it looks like George Parfitt's car. It is indeed the new Bilstein BMW, switched over from the Ferrari, which he's not been getting on with so much. It seems actually that after getting added to iRacing not that long ago, people have fallen out with the Ferrari recently, because you see 2 of them in the field at the moment.
Yeah, I've only got that as well. One of them is Jeremy Cheney, sitting in 5th place at this moment in time. Alan Purser is on all greens. He's back in the BMW. It's quite BMW heavy this time around, with Porsches in there, Fords in there. The new McLarens are showing up. Unfortunately, I don't have a car logo for the new McLaren as of yet in the SDK. So if you are watching on the live timing and you have got a blank logo, that would be the new McLaren logo. So the live timing is there if you want to follow along, of course, in that car as well. So yeah, let's see how this one gets on. It does look nice. I haven't driven it yet, partly due to the fact I don't own it. Unfortunately, I had the old one, but it was a buy the new one situation, and I haven't got that yet. So I prefer the Corvette, to be honest.
Okay, well, I'll mourn the loss of the McLaren 12C, but we've got a new one. There it is, McLaren 720S. Not sure this car actually ever won the Bathurst 12 Hour. The 650S certainly did. Used to be very popular in the Bathurst 12 Hour, but less popular these days than McLaren for whatever reason. It was very successful back about 10 years ago, or 8 years ago, but less so in recent times. We'll see if it can have some success in the OGRL today. It's unlikely to win overall because there aren't very many pros who have selected it. Cole Mudrick is in 17th at the moment. He's selected it as a pro. We've also got, oh no, that literally is it. He is the only pro in the McLaren. Plenty of pro-ams and AMs though. So a class win maybe on the cards for the McLaren here today as we follow Pernod Hanno up the hill. 14th place at the moment, as you can see, very helpfully through the windscreen number 14. He's one of the pro-ams, of course, at Pernod Hanno. And after the opening 6 rounds, 4th place in the points, 26 points behind Kenton Price. And it's very helpful in this championship, actually. 1 point is 1 position, and that is the case throughout the field. So effectively, the amount of points that I say someone is ahead or behind by is the amount of positions they've been ahead or behind by throughout the season. It's a very simple point system.
Yeah, it is. It makes it really easy for me and you, because let's face it, we hate trying to do maths, especially when we're trying to do it on the fly there. That dude 61X, wish I wasn't missing it. Good luck to fellow guys. Let us know your name on that one. Salty Sailor said he should have cleaned more during the week. He should have cleaned more during the week and got the McLaren for the season. Hopefully he does well in the BMW. Not quite sure who we're mentioning on that. The new one is good.
I think I was saying George, just a bit more cleaning.
Well, yeah, maybe. James Hillerick is 6X as well. I've got to give a shout out to Kenny Bourgeois. Currently at the moment he's not going to be here for poor old Kenny. They had a pretty severe hurricane hit where he is, and he's got damage and had no power for the last 4 days. There's just lots of cleaning up to do as well. So I hope Kenny is okay. As far as I'm aware, he is fine and nothing drastic. Just unfortunately he's not going to make it due to a hurricane hit. So there we go. Talking about George. Oh, okay, sorry. All right, no worries. He's gone with a BMW. He feels more comfortable. So he's told me. It is very stable. I'll agree with him on that. That's for sure. Not sure it's quite the quickest, but that might not be the main objective of picking it. Over the line for Bradley Lovings. He's a bit further behind than you'd expect to see him. 3rd place in the standings at the moment in the pros, and very rarely, also in fact never outside of the top 5.
in the first 6 rounds, only off the podium twice as well. So he is a long way down by his standards, and at the moment is going to have that one more lap. I think he is going to be able to complete this lap in time. Yes, he's got more than 2 minutes. He's most of the way around the lap now. So one more chance, but either those first 2 laps were just banker laps, or he's been really struggling, and I'm not sure which it is. I think he might just be struggling in this Porsche at Bathurst for whatever reason.
Yeah. It's just, he said it's good. His car is slow, and beep, this track. That's there you go. Daniel Marie is also having troubles as well currently at the moment. The setup isn't working. Oh, Lovings, game over.
Oh no,
he's where he is on that one.
Out of the top 10 start for Bradley Lovings. Not see that very often from him. Could be his worst result with the season so far, unless he has a good race. Scott Carlson is at the back of the field for the moment, but not for long, I don't suspect. Over the line for Carlson. And what's the time going to be? It is an improvement, actually, but he does stay 39th. Well, we've got 7 drivers who have not set times in the field. Joey Mains is one of them. However, he's going to run out of time. So either we're going to get 46 on the grid, or excuse me, it's 6 who haven't qualified, so we'll get 45 at very maximum. But I'm confident we're going to get more than 40 on the grid, which is a very busy track, but that's what we get in the OGRL. Fantastic field sizes, fantastic variety in manufacturers as well, and good race ahead of us for 1 hour, of course, after this qualifying session.
It is surprising. I've got to be honest, it is surprising considering the time of this race. The time of this race for Americans are either 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or on your, if you're on the West Coast, it's even earlier. And they still manage to fill the grid. And even with, it is a mainly all-American grid, to be fair, apart from a couple of UK people, Mark Bolton, George, Damien Hall-Vayton. It's not UK's, Croatian, I believe, as well. But yeah, considering it's early, very early in the morning, I am surprised that they do manage to get what they get. But fair play to them. You know, there's European leagues of GT3 that can't even get bleeding 15 cars on the grid, and that's at normal time.
Yeah, I was about to say, at a normal time, you'd struggle to get that. Yeah, it's very difficult. So fair play to them. As you say, only 3 non-North American drivers in the field. Jamin Hoverton, who qualified 4th there. George Parfitt, of course, we've already talked about. Nick Marshall as well is in the field too. All Europeans taking on the North Americans. Don't think we've had a non-North American winner of a race yet, because Joshua Herron's been winning most of them, along with Sean Riley, and obviously we saw a win for Ryan Merriam at the start of the season as well. So it's been spread around the North Americans more than anything else, but it is their series, so that's quite all right.
Let's be real, there's 43 of them, Ewan. One of them's going to win, right?
On balance of odds, maybe,
the odds are well stacked against.
They certainly are. As you say, it is only 9:30 in the morning over on the east coast of America. 8:30 if you're a little bit further to the west, at 7:30 if you're in the middle of nowhere in the mountains somewhere, and 6:30. That's a bit of a stereotype for me, isn't it? I know there is stuff in the mountain time zone, and the west coast 6:30 in the morning. I'd like to know how many people are joining us from the west coast and racing here early on. However, having known a few west coasted Americans and Canadians myself, they do get rather used to waking up quite early, because see, even the east part of America is 3 hours ahead of them, so they get used to being awake quite early in the morning. So I think they're more used to waking up early than we really give them credit for. 6:30 in the morning for them.
Yeah, well, I used to do a West Coast League broadcast on ACC. It was my alarm clock going off at 5 a.m. for the broadcast to start at 6 o'clock in the morning, which was, I believe, 8:30 their time. So I can tell you that the time difference at that point, I think that was more winter than it is summer point of view. But yeah, it's a very early start for some of these guys as well. Kenny's got power now, so that's always good. I'm glad he's got power. I'm glad he's all right, to be blatantly honest with you, because let's face it, I wouldn't want to be stuck in the middle of a hurricane, to be honest with you. We've got a 5-minute warm-up, and then we will be able to bring you up the grid on that one, so we'll be able to bring you up. What's that?
I'm not looking forward to the grid.
No, well,
See
good
if we
luck,
get
mate.
through it in time.
Well, if you want to do one page, I don't mind. Whatever way. If you're going to be able to read it all in one page, it depends on how. Let's be real though. It depends on what the pace lap they've set as well. Because obviously, if they're going to do half a pace lap, then you ain't going to have long. If you've got a pace lap, you might be all right. So we'll have to see. But yeah, good luck on that one, mate. I don't envy you.
We'll see. Normally, at Bathurst we see a short pace lap, so that's what we should get. But you never know. After all, so warm up begins, and well, it has begun for quite a few minutes while we've been babbling on. The drivers will make their way out, and quite an interesting difference, I suppose, from qualifying. And although it might be quite an obvious one, is that obviously they'll have a lot more fuel on board now. You are fuel limited in this series to 60%, and so don't expect to see anybody going further than 35-40 minutes a tank of fuel, if I've read the rules right. But we will see these drivers starting with a lot more fuel on board than what they've just had in qualifying. So it is actually quite important, even though you might think, well, they've just finished qualifying, what's the point of this warm-up session? But actually, in qualifying, they will have had 3 laps of fuel on board. During the race, they'll have 60% of a full tank on board, which will be fairly heavy in comparison. So we will see a lot of drivers out in warm-up, as we are right now, because it's important to get used to the heavier fuel load, and important to get used to having cars around you on the circuit again after that private qualifying session.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think I saw quite a bit of it in practice where people were stuck behind slower cars during the mountain because of this reason. As you just saw, I think that was Matthew Brennan, who's just got he had a little bit of an horrendous time, unfortunately for Matthew, the AM driver, through practice, and he was pushed and bumped around all over the place with cars trying to get past, of course, on their flying laps in practice. But I think for now, these they've just got to be sensible. I think qualifying is a true representation now of where these guys are. So I'm hoping that, obviously, from their perspective, they will be able to make their way through if there are faster cars behind them sensibly. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see how they get on that one.
Certainly will. Just seconds remaining in warm-up now, and it will end. Checkered flag flies, but they get to finish their lap by the looks of this. So those that are out on the circuit will continue until oh no, they won't. It just took a little bit of time for the session to finish. So after a pretty short warm-up session, it's time to go racing. Just under an hour in this race, of course, and it's time to go through the grid. Michael Dion takes pole ahead of Ryan Merriam and David Van Rooyen and Jemin Horvatin in 4th place. Jeremy Cheney's 5th ahead of the first of the Pro-Ams. Bradley Tidwell taking pole there ahead of Bill Backer and Alan Purser. Jonathan Williams, 2nd in class, 9th overall, ahead of Josh Herring, who was, of course, the top of the points after 6 rounds overall. Bradley Lovings was 3rd. He's down 11th, though, in that qualifying session. Pernell Hanno is 12th, ahead of Quentin Price and William Bailey on row 7. George Parfitt and Jeff Shrewsbury round out row 8. It's Con Modric in one of the pros in 17th, ahead of Tan Kovac. Then it's Jesus Gonzalez and Mitchell Brown rounding up the top 20. 2nd and 3rd in AM is JT Sawyer and Brian LaPlatte, with Cameron Risley in 23rd. Barry Acker and Rick Modric are next up in the 2 Porsches. Gary Spencer, 26th, ahead of Kenneth Clodin and Brian Dukowski. Then Mike Elliott and Curtis Matthews, who round out the top 30. Mark Bolton is 31st, ahead of Nick Marshall, with Chase Algray and Jeff Sepulveda rounding up the 17th row. Kai Kumpfer is next, ahead of Michael Champlin, with Carlos Ruiz Padilla next up. Matthew Brennan there as well, with Scott Carlson, Brian Hoskins, Heath Onger, Joey Mains, Tony Murray and Jim Cunningham rounding out the grid. And Brian Buckhart, of course, as well. However, we've got Algray, Champlin and Matthews all, at the very least, starting from the pit lane, maybe not starting at all.
Yeah, I can see they haven't taken to the grid. There's Algray, 4 of them that haven't gone to the grid. So we'll keep an eye on this one and see how these guys get on here. I think it's going to be very, very interesting indeed.
It is. Pace truck pulls in, and the field will be under the control of Michael Dion as they pull out at the final corner. It's another round of the OGRL Coffee Cup. After 2 weeks away, we're back racing again, down under, here on the mountain.
the lights go out at Bathurst, and Michael de Jong gets off to the perfect start, ahead of the Audi of Ryan Merriam, who took into second position. Then Horverton and Roy going side by side, and round the outside, Horverton gets up into third place. So Chain for third as Damian Horverton gets up ahead of David Van Roy, then Jeremy Cheney, Alan Purser, and the Pro-Am leader Bradley Tidwell in seventh.
Yeah, and side by side, you can see at the moment, he only got an absolutely flying start there, did what he had to do with Ryan Merriam. But at the moment, Bradley Tidwell in that Lamborghini, he's got Bill Backer, who's in the Ford this season, normally a set Ferrari driver. Lovington's trying to make his way through, stuck in 10th place at the moment. Pernell Hanlett, William Bailey, Quinton Price, and George Parfitt with Jeff Shrewsbury in behind them there as well. So this is the mountain section now. This is where we expect to see the first time of running, where I do expect them to stay as they are at the moment in time, but it's going to be who's going to survive the mountain section here as well. Hopefully they all do.
They've got through the cutting for the first time, even despite a couple of side-by-side moments. Everybody's got over the mountain, at least up the mountain, I should say, for the first time. Now can they get back down again without any incidents? It's Michael de Jong leading, just ahead of Ryan Merriam. Then it's Damian Horverton just over a second behind. He's got David Van Roy and Jeremy Cheney in a group behind him. Alan Purser's let the wheel go a little bit there. He's just ahead of Bradley Tidwell, the Pro-Am leader. Then Bill Backer, Josh Terran and Bradley Lovings to round out the top 10. Quentin Price has lost a position early on here. There he is in the McLaren. He's lost out to William Bailey over the mountain for the first time as they come back down again towards the Taste for the first time.
Yeah, this is where it's all going to go off now as well, because we've got this draft situation. David Van Roy is going to try and go around the outside. Damien Horvath just blocks in there as well. Jonathan Williams is another one. He's got Pernell Hanlett, Quinton Price in behind him as well, with Parfitt behind that. Dan Svorak is tucked in right behind that in the new McLaren as well. But at the moment, I can safely say, apart from Chase Allgrave, everybody has got through cleanly. Nobody has made any mistakes whatsoever. So fair play to these guys as Josh Herring is looking up the inside of Tidwell and has moved himself up into 8th place. Again, not really for class, that was just for overall place. But the class positions on the left-hand side, you can see Dione taking the lead there in the pros. Tidwell, Williams, Hanley, Bailey, Price and Parfitt in the Pro-Ams. Gonzalez, Laprati, Sawyer and Risley there as well.
Good news from the pit lane, by the way. Chase Algray and Curtis Matthews did make their way out onto the circuit after the field had passed, so that's good news. And we do have 43 in the field. Michael Champlin and Brian Booker don't look like they have made the field, so 43 in the field. I think that's plenty for 55 minutes of racing around here at Bathurst. Right in the pack we go then. This is Jonathan Williams, who's second in Pro-Am, just ahead of Pernell Hanlett, then William Bailey and Quentin Price further back through the field, or further up the field I should say, where the pros are. The pros are actually pretty spread out for an early point in the race. Michael de Jong and Ryan Merriam are further ahead of the rest, of course, but Damian Horverton is trying to gain some time here, trying to stitch the groups back together. No, we got a crash! Crashed over the top of the mountain. Now, who's going to be involved in this? Oh, it's going to be big, I'm afraid, down the hill over at Skyline. And it's one of the McLarens, maybe Marshall, who's been involved in it, is it? Dropped a position there anyway. One of the McLarens certainly involved in it, and it's just over after McPhillamy Park and just at Skyline. We've had our first crash on the mountain of the day.
Yeah, William Bailey, I think it was. William Bailey had the problem. You can see he gets all kind of wrong here. Oh,
good avoidance from the McLaren, and Parfitt very just about gets through, and so the McLaren, in trying to avoid, gets swiped on the way past as well by somebody. Now I think it was Cole Modric, the McLaren. He's down on the pit lane, unless he's down on the pit lane for something other than that.
No, it was okay. Modric. I've also got Jim Cunningham and Chase Allgrave. Pernell Hanlett's also made the problem. Quinton Price is in the pit, so I don't know if he got caught up in that incident with William Bailey, but he is currently in the pit lane as well. So that's jiggled around everybody in that Pro-Am situation. Parfitt's finding himself in 4th place there with Hanley, Williams and Bradley Tidwell just up the road a little bit. So quite an interesting situation that we've got going on now in the Pro-Ams on that one.
Yep, it's the end of
just 2 laps in the field, and unfortunately we've already had an incident. Quentin Price already back out again though after only 8 seconds in the box. He's not going to make it on fuel, so it's going to be a day of losing points, I think, for the championship leader in Pro-Am. Although Bradley Tidwell, as we've already discussed, is miles up the field. He might well not have enough to take the championship lead, although at the moment I think he probably does. Points, of course, are based on overall positions, and so this surely is going to be a big game for Tidwell. I'm not sure. I think Tidwell's still 7th overall, and Price now will be down nearly 40th, so he could end up losing 30-odd points here at the moment.
Yeah, at the moment Bradley Tidwell sitting 2nd in the championship. He's, 5 points back from Quentin Price, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets on there. But with obviously with the point system as it is one place and stuff like that at the moment, Price is down in 37th, Tidwell's in 9th, so that's a massive difference in points, and he probably will end up losing that lead going into the next round, of course, that we've got coming up. So be interested to see on that one. Williams and Pernell Hanley in the McLaren. That is Jonathan Williams, and he is behind Bradley Lovings at this moment in time. And then we've got the Pro-Am of Jeff Shrewsbury. He's got Bowen, Sporek, and then the AMs of Gonzalez and LaPrat behind him there as well. JT Sawyer in a grey machine with Cameron Risley tucked in right behind him in the 2 McLarens there as well. JT's looking for sponsors, anyone as well. If you fancy sponsoring JT Sawyer, please reach out to him on the Discord. He is looking for sponsors to go on that car, so yeah, give him a shout out if you think you want to be involved in that one. Back up front, as you can see at the moment, Michael Dione is breaking away from Ryan Merriam. Well, I say breaking away, he's 4 tenths in front.
Out of the second corner they go into the cutting now. Dione under more pressure actually than he was at the start of this race. The BMW under a lot of pressure from Merriam and David Van Roy. Then Horverton, who's now 4th in the field, so he's been overtaken again, I think, here by or 3 moments ago by the Ford, and now he's getting dropped by the front 3, who are very much getting away from the rest. Wonder when traffic's going to start to become a factor here at Bathurst. It's a very long circuit, and so actually catching somebody on pure pace is going to be quite difficult, but with the amount of pit stoppers we've had already and the problems as well, we could well see traffic for these guys by the end of the race, and that's really going to be a problem at Bathurst.
Yeah, I think it will be, obviously, with them involved in it. And the way it's got to be done cleanly, right? It can't be done up through the mountain. We've seen it multiple times. Don't do it through the mountain. It will end up killing you. David Van Roy with Ryan Merriam there, and Michael Dione still leading the front end of this one. Damien Hall in behind. Oh, yay. David Van Roy got very, very close to Merriam as he went hard on the defence going into the cutting. Or into the chase, sorry.
Into the chase, yeah, wrong side of the circuit. Into the final corner they go, and look at the inside for the Mustang, but no chance there. Overton closes in as a result, but it doesn't seem to quite be as quick as the front 3. Neither does Cheney at the moment, as Lovings is in the pit lane, is he? Got an early stop for Bradley Lovings. Unless he's got damage, I suppose, then I can't see him going to the end of the race from here.
46. Oh, it's going to be very, very close for Bradley Lovins. I hope he's done his maths properly, because he will be very, very close to getting to the end on that one. Mitchell Bowen has got Pernell Hanley chasing him down there, and Mitchell's chasing down Jeff Shrewsbury, who is about 4 seconds away from George, who's 6 seconds away from Jonathan Williams and Bradley Tidwell. So he's kind of driving in at no man's land at the moment. He's just got to see if he can make his way forward on that one. Cameron Risley, new to the series this season, is sat in 4th place in the AMS, doing a great job on his debut.
And, one of the McLarens that seem to be very popular in this part of the field anyway. It's 3 in a row. He's just in behind JT Sawyer, who's switched over from the Corvette to the McLaren, and by the way, it's a McLaren 1, 2, 3, 4 in AM at the moment. Jesus Gonzalez leading the field, although he's way down in 19th in the points because he didn't score any in the first part of the season. He's going to be passed here is Risley, and that's not a pass for Platt's position, so who on earth is that? one of the Porsches making their way
That's
through.
Rick Modric. It is overall position, but it is Rick Modric, I believe, trying to come back through the field. But we've still got Risley Spencer, Barry Ackers in the back. That's a Pro-Am there. Carlos Ruiz and Padilla has just caused a bit of a problem in an ideal. Well, don't do that. Oh, bro, you're in the mountain.
Well, I don't know how he's going to rectify this. He's reversing. You don't want to... Oh, well, we'll just keep going like this, shall we? Oh, use that. Yeah, good idea. Oh, he's backed it into the wall. Now turn around. Well, he's got a bit of time, to be fair. Well, not ages, but... On. Right, here we go. Just about in time.
Oh, I hit him!
No! He did it so well for so long, and then he just turned into a McLaren. Oh, no. Oh, dear. That's not nice, and he's not going to be very popular with whoever that was, is Carlos Ruiz. He did so well for so long. Quite a smart idea to use that little marshal's post there, but unfortunately he turned left straight into the McLaren.
Yeah, I'll have a look and see who that was. I wonder if that was Jim Cunningham, who's just jumped straight back to the pits. It may have well been Jim on that one. We'll try and see if we can get that. No, Jim's, that is actually where it would be, wouldn't it? I think that's, yeah, here. I think he's going to go round the corner and find Carlos Padilla in the middle of the road here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Well,
There it is.
so he would have been okay. I know he's on the racing line, but if he just stayed straight, he would have been okay because it would have been predictable and the McLaren could have just gone around him. But because he weaved around off the racing line, I understand he's trying to get off the racing line, and generally that is the thing to do. But in that situation, it's probably better to just be predictable and go straight forward. And so that's seen the McLaren into the back of it, and unfortunately a lot of damage there as well. Front end immediately came off, so that was a real shame. Meanwhile, battle for second place is on here. Merriam and David Van Rooij going down the hill now towards the chase. Is the Mustang quick enough to make a move this time round? I don't think so. As they go down the hill. Oh, he's going to have a look. Maybe this is how he did it on Hoverton. Late on the brakes. Oh, be careful. And there was very nearly contact. The Mustang tried to get through on the Audi, but he couldn't quite do it there. And he came from quite a long way back, to be fair, so it would have been impressive. But he stays third for now at the end of another lap.
Yeah, big and brave moment there from David Van Rooij on that one, having a go on the inside of Ryan Merriam. Not quite sure how he was going to plan on that one working out for him. Carlos Padilla has just left the pits. William Bailey's entered and left as well. I'm a little bit worried that these guys are going to be in front of these leaders. Bill Backer looks like he's just had a bit of a moment, unfortunately, as well as poor old Bill. But we've got a battle up front here, and then we've got Dan Svorak and Jeff Shrewsbury, Pernell Hanlett and Jesus Gonzalez having a battle further down for 4th, 5th, 6th in Pro-Ams there. So that's going to get spicy as we keep going on throughout this race. We've got literally 41 minutes remaining, and we've got battles up and down the field. We've had Quinton Price, Curtis Matthews, Bradley Lovings in the pits. Modric, Padilla, Clodin, Bailey and Chase Allgray have also been in, and now we've got Brian Dudkowski and Jim Cunningham. We can have a look and see why Dudkowski's in the pit lane here. That looks like he's already done that.
Does it? Yes, it does.
Yes,
yes. You were right. He's turning full lock to the right, and he's still going straight. So yes, he's already done it at that point, unfortunately. I don't know where.
No, I don't know where either, unfortunately, on that one. I can't seem to see anything else that might have signalled that Dudkowski, whatever he did it properly. But I've got a funny feeling if he's going to be doing it anywhere, it will be coming down into the Forest Elbow, where he's probably hit the wall on the outside.
Maybe, because it didn't look like he could turn anymore, but that's probably a safe guess. Here's David Van Rooij on the back of Merriam again. Can he get to the inside before the corner this time? Not really. He's going to have to do it on the brakes again. It's almost like a replay of last time, and he's given more space, too much space. Merriam fooled there by David Van Rooij, who forced him into an error. Ryan Merriam will not be pleased with himself as he outbrakes himself on the way towards the chase, and the Mustang is through. Well, I'm not sure that's how he envisaged going through, but he'll take it, and he's now up to second.
Yeah, poor old Ryan Merriam just got a bit spooked there, didn't he? And now he's got Jeremy Cheney closing in on him. Van Roy was never going to make the move. He just spooked into Merriam into making a mistake. So unfortunately for Ryan Merriam, he just made that mistake, and Van Roy said thank you very much. That is Dudkowski coming out the pit lane in that Rexy pink livery. I've got to have a go at Heath Bollinger. He's got no more Rexy green livery on as well due to a sponsorship change. So unfortunately, we're not going to see Rexy green. We've got a Clemson Tigers livery on his car at this moment in time. So yeah, not happy at this moment in time with Heath Bollinger.
We've got Roxy though, the Dudkowski livery, pink and teeth. But anyway, he's getting repairs now in the pit lane. Is he still there? No, he's out. He's back out again. But he's had a minute and a half in the lane. So that's the overall standings on the left-hand side of your screen. The battle for the highest position in the field is now 4-4 between Jeremy Cheney and Ryan Merriam, who's re-emerged back onto the circuit in 4th place after going off at the chase, and now he's being chased by one of the Ferraris of Cheney for 4th as we get closer towards the pit stop phase. Just less than 40 minutes to go now, and a short while, 2 laps probably, the drivers will be able to pit and make it to the end.
Yeah, looks like Brian Hoskins is at a moment. Brian LaPratt has also done something that has involved him jumping straight back to the pit lane there. So unfortunately for Brian LaPratt, we'll have a quick look and see first if Cheney can get close to Merriam coming down into the chase before we go and have a look and see what Brian LaPratt did to himself. But it looks like he's had a bit of a moment. I don't think there's going to be any overtake going on unless Merriam makes another mistake, but he doesn't. This is what LaPratt's done in that McLaren. He's hooked it in the mountain, isn't he? Yep. That's going round all day.
Spun, but it just knocked the rear wing off, and he escaped back to pit lane immediately because he didn't want to be in the way. So an escape, I think, to stop being in the way more than anything else, which is
yeah.
What's him?
Gary Spencer and Barry Acker. He's coming across. All
dear.
Day. Oh, that is one problem with that. That curb is like Velcro on that outside. It sucks you in. Look, and then he's stuck. He can't go anywhere. And unfortunately, bang into Barry Acker. So, yeah, Gary Spencer not having a good ride on that one. And there's only one place that we can really watch this from. Oh, look.
like an onboard camera.
I do love a good spin.
Look at that. Way. And the weird thing about that crash is that he hits the wall on one side, starts spinning around one direction, hits the wall on the other side, starts spinning around the other. So he's almost reversed. Dizzy. He won't be very dizzy, but he has spun around quite a lot of times there, but roughly even amount of times each way, so he might be okay. He's back to the pit lane. Now, he was the AM Championship leader, by the way, but I don't think Daniel Morey is here today. I can't see him.
Oh, Merriam spun!
Oh, dear. And has Cheney avoided? It looks like it, and he's
jumped straight back.
Merriam back to pit lane. Race winner in the first part of the season, of course. It's that curb at McPhillamy. He's just up over it. That's not what sends him off. He's just wide into Skyline, gets over the grass, spins into the wall on the left-hand side, and that is it for 5th place for him.
He's back in the pits. He's back in the pits. Now, the reason we're seeing people jump back into the pits is it's so difficult, as you saw with Padilla, to get that car round, right? You're stuck in a mountain. You can't do a 3-point turn. It's more of a 10-point turn. I know, as we saw with Padilla, you have to reverse halfway up the road. But it's very, very difficult. So there are some leagues that I've seen that have brought rules in that say between when you start going into the mountain at Quarry to when you come out of Forest Elbow, you cannot try and get the car back on track. You have to take it back to the pits. Now, I'm not saying this is what these guys have done. What I'm saying is Ryan Merriam did that because he can't turn that car around where he was. It's very, very difficult indeed.
With 40 drivers immediately coming up next. Oh, Perno Hanno to the inside there of Shrewsbury, that is. Jeff Shrewsbury in the Mustang. That's not a small car to manoeuvre around, and so he couldn't do it in towards the chase. And just behind is the AM leader, Jesus Gonzalez. By the way, I said earlier on, Daniel Murray isn't in the field. Just have another check. Oh, he is in the field. Excuse me, I just couldn't see him. He's 22nd at the moment, so he will be gaining enough points to overtake Gary Spencer in the championship as far as I can work out, because he's 9 positions ahead. So he will just about be able to get through. However, JT Sawyer is only 8 points behind Maury, and he's at the moment 7 positions ahead. So at the moment, I think we will have about 3 drivers in AM separated by about 3 points at the end of this round of the championship, if of course things stay as they are, which they probably won't, because there's more than half an hour to go.
Yeah, it's never going to stay as they are, Mr. O'Leary. Plus, we've got pit stops involved as Modric and JT Sawyer trying. I think Modric is chomping at the bit here. That's the problem.
What's that? Someone's got no rear wing. Oh, and it's one of the McLarens. Is that the leader? It's not the leader of AM. It's one of the lap cars.
It's Cunningham.
Okay, Cunningham further down the field.
Oh no, it's not Cunningham.
That's Cunningham's also lost his rear wing by the looks of this, but just not that driver. Got a BMW bearing down on him here. Oh, and he's just there.
Oh, he tries to get out of the way. Yeah, he tries to get out of the way. I'm not sure who that is. JT Sawyer.
Sorry, that was Dion getting through. So Dion actually just lost a bit of time. And Horverton and Van Roy gained it. And Van Roy actually lost some time, so he got overtaken by Horverton. But then the two of them lost a load of time battling, I suppose, or maybe behind another lap car. So Dion's restored a nearly 4-second lead now.
Yeah, Padilla looks like he's had a little bit of a moment. Quinton Price is back in the pit lane. I don't know if that's for speeding or it's for something else. Cole Modric is in the pits. God blimey, Clodding's in the pits, Allgrave's in the pits, and Bailey's in the pits. I'm not quite sure what that. The notifications are coming up, but there's Hoskins there. What did you do, dear sir? Oh, okay.
Oh dear. It's been at.
That'd be where that
rear
that's
wing. A very innocuous crash, isn't it? But
but his button was off.
Ruined the rear suspension. Look at that. Oh heavens, that's terrible. Dear oh dear, that wasn't ideal. We still don't know who that McLaren was with their rear wing, but anyway, they're back to the pit lane, I would imagine, right now, because 4 of the drivers you just read out are McLaren drivers, so it could be any of them at the moment. Not a good day for championship leaders, dare I say. Josh Herring has probably made the best fist of this of the 3 championship leaders. He's now 7th after qualifying 10th, so not an amazing day, but it should be enough with Sean Riley not here to hold on to the championship lead by some distance now, even with Bradley Lovings around, because of course don't forget Lovings is a long way down in 20th place, so Herring's going to hold on to his championship lead despite finishing not in the podium positions, I wouldn't expect. As you've just said, Quentin Price is still in the pit lane at the moment, and while I've been looking, he's just come out again, but at 2.5 minutes in the lane, he's now 35th. Closest to him in the standings is Bradley Tidwell, who is second now in Pro-Am, but he's doing more than enough to take that championship lead away, and by some distance as well.
It's really difficult at the moment, because you see the gap on the left-hand side up to 29th. They're a lap down. So everybody from 29th to, well, there was 43 cars in the end, because Chaplin and Burkhardt didn't take to the start. Jeff Sepulveda has just had an incident. Matthew Brennan's also had an incident as well. And it's quite interesting, because I was talking to George before, and we was just talking generally, and I said, how are you feeling out there? He said, yeah, I'm feeling really good. Ryan Merriam's just had a moment, though, unfortunately. I'll worry about my little story with my boy in a minute. Merriam has already lost a front end on that one. So
presumably
where did
can't turn anymore?
No.
And there's your issue. So
where did he do that?
I'm going to guess turn 1, because I wouldn't imagine he would drive past the pit lane looking like that. So
yeah, not sure.
Final corner or turn 1, I suppose, but that's back to the pit lane again for Merriam, which is a real shame, because he had a good start to the race. Traffic really becoming a factor. Was that something you were about to mention? You can carry on with your story.
Yeah, so I was. We were talking, and he basically we were having just a chat. I said, how are you feeling? He said, yeah, I'm good. I said, dude, listen, just do me one favour. He said, what's that? I said, survive the mountain. I said, when you go up through the skyline and down through the dipper and the Forest Elbow, it doesn't matter how slow you are, you pray at the top and you say thank you at the bottom. And you do that every lap, because at the end of the day, you've survived. And at the moment, bless his little cotton socks, he's got cotton socks, he's only 13, bless him. He's surviving the top and the bottom and sitting 3rd in Pro-Ams and 10th overall. So hopefully this will be okay.
That was quite close.
It was.
There we go. Hobbiton getting through on one of the McLarens there. It's difficult to be a lapped car around here. Difficult to be a lapper as well, as David Van Roy is going to try and take advantage of it. The Mustang powers down the inside on the way in towards the chase. So powerful compared to the Porsche, but it's on the outside now, and he will stay through. So the traffic again creating a battle between these two who just can't leave each other alone with half an hour to go. David Van Roy back to second place.
Yeah, he is at the moment, but they've both got pits, haven't they? Nobody from 17th forward have taken pit stops at this moment in time either, so there's still a lot of racing up and running for these guys, and pit stops are going to be included in that situation, and at the moment some of them haven't taken it, so we're going to find out how they get on after the pit lane, I think, as Mr. O'Leary, to see what goes on after that. Now, if you're Horvaten, do you cover off Van Roy, or if you've got the fuel, do you go one lap more? Tarina Chatton, what is going on today on the edge of me seat over here? Well, I can tell you now, your poor boy at the moment, for poor old Quinton Price, he was in the pit lane. Is he back out on track? He is back out on track, but he's 33rd place. So not going too well, unfortunately, for Quinton.
Yep, losing the championship lead as things stand to Bradley Tidwell, who is 9th and would be gaining, let's do the maths on the fly, 24 points as things stand. That would be more than enough for him to take the championship lead and nearly have a 20-point championship lead as well. But of course we'll have a drop week for this section of the season as well, and you'd imagine if all goes well for the rest, Quincy Price will take this as his drop round. It's quite interesting actually that in the first bank of 6 races of this season, he didn't have a very good race then either. It's Belle Isle finished way down, I think finished 27th, something like that, and way outside the top 20. And it's interesting that history is repeating itself here, quite a few weeks later, about 3 months later.
Yeah, it is on that one. It's just, it might be just one of them things for Quinton. He takes a round to get himself going, do you know what I mean? And hopefully after this he will be all right when we go into the other rounds. This is Alan Purser with Bill Backer. Backer's changed to the Mustang, as I say, was in the Ferrari. Jeff Sepulveda's had an incident. He's jumped straight back to the pits. Mike Elliott, Mitchell Bowen, and Jeremy Cheney. What did you do, or were you just very, very slow and the system's picked up that you made a mistake? Oh.
That's what happened.
Oh, okay, so it's picked up he's made a mistake, but really just disappeared. Jim Cunningham's jumped straight back to the pits as well. Clyde Comfer is just been lost a position to Pernell Hanlett. This is an on-track position. This is after the pit stop cycles now as well. And we've still got people lapped down, people in the pits, and all sorts going on at this moment in time. With Brennan's jumped back to the pits, Cunningham's in the pits, and Van Roy and Horvaten still battling out.
And only Brian Hoskins a confirmed retirement. You know that Michael Champlin and Brian Buckott didn't start, but only one DNF. Is that damage to the front end of David Van Roy's car? It is indeed, on the right-hand side.
Pole. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
he's hit a wall somewhere.
Must have done. There's plenty of them. So he will have to get that repaired, I suppose, at the pit stop, and surely it's not too far away. I said earlier on that any further than 35, 40 minutes, I'd be surprised the amount of fuel they've got on board. So if they're going any further than 20 minutes to go, then again I would be surprised. However, I'm often surprised by how far people can go on fuel. I did a series last week where I said they're not going to go much further than 35 minutes or so, because it was a pretty similar rule set to this series, and ended up still going with about 50 minutes gone. so I can be wrong, is the bottom line. I'm sure you didn't need me to tell you that. On board with Damien Horvaten we go then with the Porsche. It's fortunately just not as quick in a straight line as a Ford Mustang, not as powerful and not as quick down the Conrad Straight, and so Horvaten's going to find this overtake, if he wants to make one, pretty difficult on the circuit. And I would suggest maybe if he goes into the pit lane then he might find more joy. But where do you find the free track space to actually come into the pit lane? There's a big group of cars just going through the cutting right now, extending all the way back to the start of turn 2. It would be a catastrophe to end up in that part of the order if you are a front runner.
Yeah, on the track map there's a little predicted P with a blue broken circle around it. That's roughly, give or take 100 yards either way, that would roughly be where he would come out. So that would be down in between 13th and 14th place if for Damien Horvaten he went in now. Michael Dione, however, if he goes and pits now, he comes out round about the same sort of area. So no real clear track space for anybody at this moment in time. So it's going to be an interesting one to see what goes on there. Lovins is stuck. He has not moved for an absolute age, and he's got Nick Marshall and JT Sawyer in front of him since he's come out from his pits here. So poor old Bradley Lovins is kind of stuck there. Oh,
Yeah,
there he goes.
I think, well, there's one anyway. He needs a few more than that. I think that the problem for the Porsche again is that the straight line speed is just not quite there, and so really end up struggling at a circuit like Bathurst. Thankfully, the circuits last season weren't very straight line speed heavy. In fact, only Spa was a real circuit where you needed the straight line speed, and Bradley Lovins did quite well. I think he got pole there, didn't he? Or he was quite close to it. He did well, so it didn't hold him back very much there, but he clearly doesn't enjoy Bathurst. I think it might be more of a personal issue he has with this circuit than anything else, but there you go. He is now up to 14th position and trying to get on the march for some more places. Pitted after only 4 laps, though. I'm slightly concerned he's not going to make it to the end.
No, I don't know if he will, to be honest. He's got to rely on other people coming in here. There's a group of cars here. Somewhere in this, I believe, that is Dudkowski. Dudkowski is a lapped car. I don't know. If I go into blue flags, it's going to be absolutely a nightmare. So I'm going to try and stay well away from the blue flag situation here for me. But as far as I'm concerned, Dudkowski, you probably should have got out of the way going in now, because Nick Marshall's going to be stuck behind you into the mountain.
So he's not in the way at the moment. He's got a couple of car limps. He's okay.
I don't know. We'll see.
Now, out back to 10th place. George Parfitt doing just fine for the moment. 3rd place in class, as we've got pit stops ahead. Bill Backer is into the pit lane, was in the Corvette early on in the season, and has now switched over to the Mustang. Maybe he did that partway through last season, but anyway, let's have a look at a replay for Ollinger in turn 2. Pardon us.
Yeah.
To see that.
Oh, it's just probably the Porsche doing Porsche things. The only reason I picked up a Jordan, he was closing in on Tidwell. He had the gap down to I think it was 4.5 seconds. And now all of a sudden he's back out at 10 seconds. I can't find a reason why. So I'm guessing there may have been some form of mistake there from George. Everybody else is fairly spread apart at this moment in time. Backer's on his way out of the pits. He's going to come out in, that is Joey Means in 28th. So that is actually a lap car there for Joey. Torino there, I don't even know what happened to him to have him in the pit so often. Definitely stressed. Just realised George is in the Pro-Am now. Let's go. Great job, George. Yeah, he was in the Pro-Am last season. He was just a little bit headstrong. So hopefully he'll be a little bit calmer in here. But everybody at the moment, Mr. O'Leary, I've got to be honest, is a little bit more spread out. So we might as well have a look at Michael Dione and see if he's going to go in the pits this time around.
He's having a good race so far. It's very rare you see this spread out, but I guess that's what happens when you've got so many incidents and whatever throughout the race. It does get very tricky to stay quite as close as through the chase he goes and into the pit lane. No, he carries on, so he's going to break 35 minutes here. Again, though, I'd be surprised if they go much further than that. Roy and Horverton stay out on the circuit as well. Jeremy Cheney catching them both, but he's out on the circuit as well. Alan Purser still 5th in the... he wishes it was a Lexus. It's a BMW, but he wishes it was a Lexus.
I agree.
And he stays out as well.
Maybe they're still all going to keep going out then, because I think at the moment we might have underestimated the fuel situation here. Tidwell... Oh, no. Williams is in. Tidwell's covered him in. So it's now going to be what George is going to do. Is he going to go and cover him off? Or if he doesn't need to, he's going to keep going. So George will take the lead in the Pro-Am situation there. Jeff Shrewsbury in behind that. He's carried on as well. So maybe the BMW's got a little bit more fuel than the Lamborghini. And, well, I'm quite surprised the other BMW there of Jonathan Williams. So now it's all down to George Parfitt here and seeing how much pace he can put in and how much of a gap he can open up. And I'll handle it with Nick Marshall further down.
That's the battle for 14th position at the moment, but the battle for the lead and the win in Pro-Am is very much on in the pit lane between Howell and Williams. and it's Williams who's going to get out first. Excuse me, Tidwell, I should say. The gap remains roughly similar. Out of the lane goes Williams. What was the time? 2 tenths longer actually than Tidwell, but he's still got some work to do. I think he'll still consider this a successful day, Bradley Tidwell, because after all, I think he'll be taking the championship lead. However, he would like to chase down Williams for that race win. He'll have to gain those couple of seconds and negotiate the lap traffic before he can do that, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. We've got JT Sawyer in there as well. Now, this is obviously a position on track. There is a lap car between Tidwell there and in front of him, and that is Cole Modric. So Cole, the pro, who is actually, where is Cole? He's down in 39th, and he's about 5 laps down at this moment in time. So fair play to Cole Modric for keep trying out there, but he is a couple of laps down. Mitchell Bowen, Curtis Matthews, Ollinger's in the pits. Dion, Venroy, Damien Hobart and Jeremy Cheney are in the pit lane, all of them together. So this might be the lap where we get that influx into the pit lane. What about Josh Herring? Ooh.
Can't be a little surely, but he's in anyway. So this looks like the limit, doesn't it now? With 17 laps gone. This looks like the limit. George Parfitt going a little bit deep into the chase, getting into the grass. That'll be a 1X, but he gets back into the pit lane now, as will everybody else. We're still waiting for the top 9 to pit in. Who's just disappeared there? Dion has disappeared. Michael Dion has disappeared from the head of the race here. I can no longer see him.
He's back in. He jumped back to the pit lane.
But he's all. Okay, so he's still in the pit lane, and out of the pit lane goes David Venroy, now in the lead of the race. Horverton's only half a second behind. Cheney's gained a lot of time, and now he's involved as well, but the previous race leader, Michael Dion, is now exiting pit lane, and this is a disaster. He'll be 5th or something like that after a very long stop.
Yeah, definitely as well. Jonathan Williams is going to retake the lead in Pro-Ams. Bradley Tidwell's in there at the same time. There's a couple that I don't think, whatever's gone on in that pit lane with Mr. Young Parfitt there, he's made a mistake, because he's now going to come out behind Jeff Shrewsbury, Bradley Lovins and Bill Backer. It was a long stop, yeah, so whatever went on there, I think he's made a mistake, because he's lost that podium position to Jeff Shrewsbury, who's in front of him. So unfortunately it looks like the Pro-Ams are back as they are. Venroy, Horvath and Cheney there. Michael Dion is in 5th place at the moment, with Josh Herring in front in the Porsche. I can't tell you what he did unless he ran out of fuel getting to the pit lane, which is the only thing I could possibly think of why Michael Dion might have been taken so long to get there.
I think that's probably the only thing that's really possible, because he only lost 10 seconds in the box, but now he's 25 seconds behind. He's lost effectively 25 seconds, which is obviously more than the 10, so it must have been in the lane somewhere. Don't forget about the tyres in this series and whether to take them or not. I have a feeling some of these longer stops, because George Parfitt's not the only one. We've got Bradley Lovings, who's already made a longer stop, although that was a long time ago. Alan Purser's made a very long stop there as well. There is, of course, the mistake element if you've accidentally done something, but if you take 4 tyres, it will take you that little bit longer as well. It will take you that little bit longer than the fuel fill. So it is possible that some of these drivers have taken tyres as Michael Dion gets up back to 4th place.
Yeah, he does. He's just cleared Josh Herring. Jonathan Williams and Bradley Tidwell are nearly on, well, they're neck and neck, you see on the circuit. That's on board with Tidwell at this moment in time. So Tidwell closing in on that Pro-Am lead. Then we've got Alan Purser, Jeff Shrewsbury, who's got Bradley Lovins. Then Bill Backer and Mr. Parfitt. Pernell Hanlett is in behind that currently, but it's really what Lovings is going to be able to do here, and can he clear Shrewsbury without any trouble, and has that Porsche got the gumption to get past the Mustang in front of him?
That's going to be the big key for the final quarter of an hour of this race, just about. Just under 16 minutes remaining in the race now. Round 7 of the OGRL Coffee Cup here at Bathurst. Following along with Bradley Lovings here, trying to get past Jeff Shrewsbury. Don't forget, this is not a class battle, but it is a battle for points, because points are scored on an overall basis. rather than in individual classes, which I think personally is the best way to do it. So that's a good thing. He will be gaining time, Lovings here on points on Riley and Herring, of course, but not quite enough to take the... In fact, he won't be gaining on Herring, will he? He's jumped to 5th place, but he will be gaining on Sean Riley. And before we add any drop week for this section of the season, he will get ahead of into 2nd place in the championship as they go over the mountain again.
Yeah, I almost thought he was going to hit the wall there going into Quarry Bend, so he was very, very close on hitting the wall, was Bradley Lovins. It's now whether or not he's going to survive this and just survive the mountain. That is literally what a lot of people have done. Ryan Merriam's had another crash. That poor young man further down is having an absolute horrendous time at this moment in time here, so we'll try not focus too much on the downfall of Ryan Merriam, but it's probably been a right little story he's had in that car as these guys come into Forest Elbow and go out the other side. Jesus Gonzalez has jumped straight back to the pits, so not sure what he's going to have done. I'll have a look back at that once Lovins has tried to overtake Shrewsbury if possible.
Here we go, down the straight. It's difficult for the Porsche, especially against the Mustang. And there you go, down into the chase. He's struggling here. Looks up the inside beforehand. He's going to have to be on the brakes if he does it at all. And he's not quite brave enough to go down the inside there. Some would say silly enough. But he would have needed to be very late on the brakes there. I think he just gave a flash of the lights as well, as he indicates to Shrewsbury he definitely wants to get through here. And he will be looking over his shoulder as well here, because Bill Packer is in 11th position. He is in the same class, of course, and looking to take that final spot in the top 10 away from Bradley Lovings.
Yeah, the problem is that Mustang has got so much gruff behind it that it's not going to be able to be easy for him to get past. The Porsche just hasn't got the gruff to go with it, and that's going to bring Backer into play. Parfitt's coming into play as well behind him, so there's a lot of cars that could end up, this 4-car fight could go even further behind that, because Pano Hanalei is a little bit further back, but there's an option obviously if he manages to, these guys carry on fighting, to get through as well. But Lovins can't flash, it's for overall. He cannot be by any shape of the imagination flashing him. He's got to do it. He doesn't have to move. It's a pro versus pro-am. It's not, you know, roll over on a blue flag, tickle my belly, get on my back kind of scenario for Bradley Lovins. He's got to do it on track, and flashing, well, ain't going to really make a difference.
No, it's not. I don't think he's flashing because he thinks he should get out of the way, but he's just trying to indicate he'd like to get on with this and try and make a mistake, I suppose. Down the hill they go, through Skyline. And Backer is right there now. There's a back marker just ahead of them here. Difficult place to get out the way though, and might as well just wait for Conrad straight now. And that's what Shrewsbury's going to have to do, unless he wants it Forest Elbow, and does go down the inside at Forest Elbow. Lovings will get through as well, and at Backer not quite as cleanly, so he won't be such a factor this time round. Just Parfitt as well will be closing in as a result of he's got the rub of the green of the traffic that time round. That's what happens at Bathurst. Sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. Here goes Lovings down Conrad straight, then he's not even as close as he was last time, and so Shrewsbury's going to survive another lap here, and you begin to wonder where this Porsche is going to be able to make a move.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know, but then Shrewsbury just went in deep into the chase, so it could be coming very shortly. If Shrewsbury, Lovins, he did have to go in. We said, would he have to put again? And he did. And 11 minutes to go. That's just going to kill his race, unfortunately, I think, for Bradley Lovins. I think he'll be down probably round about 15th, 16th place after this one.
He came out the pit lane with only 10 minutes gone or something like that, so he was never going to make it, unfortunately. Lovings will drop down the field now and lose 7 more points to Josh Herring, who's going to have a very big championship lead at the end of this, by the way. Behind on points to Sean Riley coming into this, who's not here. Cole Modric struggling as well. It's not inconceivable that Herring could have 20, 30 points over the field at the end of today. That's quite a lot of points in a point system like this one. Don't forget, 1 point per position, 60 for a race win, for finishing 60th, you get the idea. It's 1 point per position, and David Van Roy's lost the lead. Well, he was comfortable, he looked comfortable earlier, and Hoverton all of a sudden has got ahead of him. What has happened? Down into Forest Elbow. Oh, it's a lap car just up in front of him. A lap car making an error, and David Van Roy has nearly lost the lead here. He's side by side with Hoverton down the straight, and you can see again the Porsche's
lack of straight line speed, even with a poor run. David Van Roy still able to get back alongside again here on the way in towards the chase. Now, who prevailed out of this? David Van Roy just about hung on. Oh, goodness, no, he didn't. Hoverton, look at this down the inside. Oh, he musters his way through. Four contacts, and Van Roy's back through again. What a strange battle, but somehow the lead stays the same.
Yeah, Van Roy is out in front of 8 and in second place there. We're back to live pictures. So that was the replay of how they got the overtakes done at the battling. So this is back to the live pictures. We've also got that Pro-Am battle kicking off as George is tucked up behind Bill and Bill's tucked up behind Jeff, who George wants to get past. So I'm going to try and keep an eye on that one at the same time as these guys continue to have a good old little scrap further at the front of the order. But this is the middle of the battle here. There's Jeff third in the Pro-Ams, there's George fourth in the Pro-Ams, and there's Bill Backer, who is sitting seventh in the Pros in the middle. So this could end up being fireworks here.
Yeah, Bill Backer could be sandwiched here by the two of Shrewsbury and Parfitt, but anyway, let's see how it's resolved. As I say, because everyone scores points from an overall system, I think it works better because it does mean that generally you will fight for all of the positions, and that's what we're going to see here in this three-car battle. Down the hill they go on Mountain Straight towards turn 2. The 3 will stay single file. Oh, and just missed the apex there, Parfitt, and so Backer's going to get that little bit of breathing room now. He will be able to really focus in on getting 9th place, although he is slightly running out of time to do this. The leaders at the moment are most of the way round another lap. Could be either 4 or 5 laps to go at the end of this one.
Yeah, Dudkowski as well back in the pits. I'm trying to work out where they are. Van Roy is into the chase. It'll be how he goes over the line and whether or not it's going to be 12, 8. Yeah, it's going to be nearly 4 laps possibly if he gets over the line before that 8:16 mark. If he does, we might have 5. There's a big old incident here. I'm not entirely sure what's happened with Mark Bolton and Carlos Padilla, but something has gone on. And did Bolton just make this all on his own?
Oh, yeah,
Forest
it was
elbow.
indeed.
And there's Padilla.
And the Corvette gets.
Is that?
And there's the Porsche.
Oh, I thought that was Josh Herring then.
He just snuck through. Herring snuck through. Still 5th is the championship leader. By the way, I just saw Gary Spencer losing positions further down. Don't know what's happened to him. He's back to the pit lane again here for a second time.
Spencer involved in it.
Oh,
look at that
so
car.
The AM Championship leader caught up in another incident. Oh, and as he's trying to get back to the pit lane, he smashes into a McLaren. The suspension on that car made it tremendously unsafe, and he's. Oh, excuse me. It is a McLaren. Excuse me. He loses control straight into a McLaren. Oh my goodness! And
goodness.
And the Lexus as well. The BMW Lexus. Nearly avoided, but couldn't quite. Don't know who that was, but one of the BMWs saw that happening ahead.
He's just put Purser in the wall.
Couldn't avoid Purser because the 2 ahead were already crashing, and he couldn't avoid it. So, unfortunately, he's in the wall as well. What a real shame. And by the way, we've got about nearly 10 cars, so quarter of the field in the pit lane right now. Not all due to that crash, but a fair few involved in that one.
Yeah, and we've got literally 25th and below, a lap down here, and depending on how long Alan Purser takes, he might be as well. Scott Carson has just had a moment. He's gone off the circuit. Jeff Shrewsbury still got Backer in behind, Parfitt in behind that. Tidwell has lost a lot of time to Willie. Bill, you might want to just back off a little bit here, mate.
I'm not going to do any of that.
I literally thought he was going to push him down the mountain. He was that close.
Yeah, like if you get a shopping trolley at the top of the hill, just send someone down in it.
Oh, have you done that before?
Anyway,
you know you have, haven't you?
No. Anyway, back out of Forest Elbow and on board with Bill Backer we go. Shrewsbury with sufficient distance, I think, to
stay ahead in 8th position here. Purser continues to drop down the field. What I was going to say about Gary Spencer, by the way, beforehand, he continues to drop down, is that he will lose the championship lead here, as far as I can tell, in AM. 17th place for Daniel Murray, which is a good 16 points gained on Spencer. He was only 6 behind at the start of the day, so Spencer will be 10 behind Murray. And Maury is going to lose some points to JT Sawyer, is he? Oh no, he's actually going to gain some. So Sawyer and Spencer will both be 10 points behind. James Hillrick, as we've heard from already in YouTube chat, is going to be even further behind because he's not here. Meanwhile, it's turn 1. George Parfitt's back again. And Bill Backer is, with ever more urgency now, trying to get past Shrewsbury.
Yeah, I'm trying to have a look at the front. Jeremy Cheney has cleared Damien Horvaten. And
They've lost a lot of time. Robertson's lost a lot of time.
Yeah, I do want to have a look. They're going into the mountain. Nothing's going to happen there. How did Horvaten get hit? Oh, back marker.
Really?
Oh, he's hit him!
Oh, dear. He's hit the back marker, has he? That was a very big crash. Well, very spectacular. Bodywork everywhere. But Horvaten here.
He hit him.
Oh, he's hit him. He's hit him. And just as he went light over the top of the hill there, look at the damage as well. He's going to limp on, I think, here, but he may well lose a podium place. Look at the suspension out. Michael Dion might well finish on the podium after all.
Yeah, Dion's closing in on him at an absolute rapid rate of knots. Horvaten's trying to get that car stopped and down into the chase. He's got to get it in. You've got to get it in the pit lane. Dion is not too far. He's got to go in. He can't drive like that. You try and do the mountain. Yeah, get in there, Damien. You're not silly, son. You can't do the mountain like that. Well, he ain't. Damon's a smart cookie, right? I'm not going to lie. I've known Damon for a while. He's a very clever boy. That is just... He wouldn't even attempt to go down the mountain like that. That is just ridiculous. That would just wipe out your waist. George has cleared Bill and has moved ahead. I'm wondering if this... Oh, dear me. I'm seeing Bill crash there. I'm hoping this isn't...
We're going to have an awkward moment here.
Yeah, is Dad going to be like... Oh, no.
Oh, no. Nearly saved very well, but not quite. Bill Backer into the wall. He held on for a long time there, but not quite. So Parfitt says thank you very much. But unfortunately, losing so much time effectively means that the battle for third is almost over here in Pro-Am.
Yeah, he's got 3.5 seconds up the road now. He is going to clear Horvaten, who's still in the pit lane there. So he will gain up in 8th at the moment, up 7, Shrewsbury up 9. So we'll see how he gets on towards the end, which, ain't too bad on that one. Quinton Price is out in the circuit. He's back out in 21st here. He's got JT Sawyer and Barry Acker. That's the thing in the Pro-Am situation. Some of them are not here and some of them are here. So in the Pro-Ams at the moment, obviously Mark Bolton is here, but he's out, I believe, is Mark Bolton on that one. But now Hanlett's here. Michael Champlin didn't start there. Brian Hoskins, I can't seem to see at all. So there's a lot of Pro-Ams, there's a lot of Pro-Ams that are not here at the moment, or here but are not doing well. So the likes of Williams, Tidwell, Shrewsbury and Parfitt, they're going to gain a big lump of positions going into the next round.
Yeah, Price is going to lose 15 points if things were to stay as they are to Tidwell. That would give Tidwell a 10-point championship lead over Price. So that's another championship lead change. There'll be 2 as things stand. JT Sawyer involved there, of course, we just saw is involved in the AM Championship leading battle, so he'd very much like to stay ahead of Barry Acker, although he's seemingly struggling to do that. Despite the lack of a front end on that Porsche, it's still going pretty quickly here, and Barry Acker is going to try and get through, but it's going to be so difficult with the lack of aerodynamics compared to the McLaren, which is a very slender and sleek car anyway. Acker's not going to be able to get through here, surely, as down the hill they go. I don't know how he's going to get through because that front end is not looking great.
No, it's not. And what's worse for him is he's got a Mustang there. I think that Mustang is trying to get back through for position. That's William Bailey in 39th place. 39th place, and he's done 16 of 26 laps. So fair play to Bailey for keep going, right? He's 10 laps down here. Let's be real. Horvaten is still in the pits. He's dropping down like an absolute rock. He's down in 23rd. So I'm wondering if that is I did not select or take off my fast repair at my first pit stop. iRacing have taken it, and now I'm stuck without one. So I'm wondering if that's the situation with Damien Horvaten at this moment in time. And it's the only reason he could be in the pits for that long. As
I think so.
but again, it's the only reason he can be.
I think so. Bailey had a look to the inside, but realises that he is a long way behind, and so stays behind, as you say, 38th at the moment. He's the last running car. Brian Huskins was the first retirement confirmed of this race, by the way. Jim Cunningham has since joined him. Jeff Sepulveda and Chase Argray have been in the pit lane for over 13 minutes, but they are still in the session, and it might re-emerge, but there's little point because there is very little time remaining. Just 20 seconds. Is David Van Rooij going to get on for another lap, or are we going to finish at the end of lap 26 here? He's just coming out of the chase right now, and I'm not sure which colour the flag is of the marshal he's holding on the front straight here. On board with Van Rooij. Is he going to be forced round for one more, or can he take his glory now? He crosses the line, and it's going to be one more. So the time expired by the time he crossed the start line, but the finish line is a bit earlier. And with a couple of seconds remaining, David Van Rooij crosses the line to start the 27th and final lap of this race.
Yeah, there is literally one battle going on here, and that's Bill Backer and Parfitt, who's trying to get hold of Shrewsbury, who's 4 seconds down the road. So this is literally the only battle on track at this moment in time. So hopefully this will, I want to say this will go cleanly, but we'll see on whether or not what Back... Yay. That was close. Backett nearly lost his nose cone on that one. So
I reckon he's driving with damage here, by the way, Backett. We just saw from the onboard there, and from look at that crabbing. That's terrible crabbing, but he's still driving very quickly. I'm not really sure how he's doing that. But if you look at this, that is bad suspension damage. And don't forget, that's from the cutting a couple of laps ago where he nosed it into the wall, very nearly saved a big slide, but nosed it into the wall. The front right must be ruined because the car's driving horribly, but he's still driving quickly.
Yeah, he may not have... It may... I don't know, because I've been in this situation where my steering wheel's been that far to the right as well, and sometimes it doesn't feel like it affects the car. Obviously it is, right? And I'm not stupid, so please don't put that in or anything in YouTube chat. I'm aware that the car is being affected, but what I mean is it doesn't affect you enough that you can't control it. Obviously, if you're in some of the situations we've seen today, where, let's face it, the car should have been back in the pit lane before they'd gone down the Conrad Straight and careered into about 3 other people, you know, that should have been off the track and gone. It probably isn't that horrendous that Backer can't control it for this final lap. I think that's the words I'm trying to look for, as we've got David Van Rooij coming around the final final part here.
Yep, and after 27 laps, he has finally won again. David Van Rooij over the line, a race winner. After missing the last 3 rounds of the OGRL Coffee Cup, he's back with a bang. He wins at Bathurst. 4 seconds ahead of Cheney, who finishes second, and Michael Dion, who eventually will finish third after having been the fastest driver in this race. He set the fastest lap throughout, and he set a new fastest as he crosses the line there, a 2:03.9. That's a qualifying lap from Michael Dion right at the very end of this race.
Yeah, he's been absolutely flying, isn't he? There's a, oh my dearie me, what is going on here? But that's Jonathan.
What is happening? Oh dear, this is a mess.
Back marker in there somewhere. There's a Porsche dive in. There's Williams in there in the Pro-Am. Literally, please get over the line because you're so close. That would be such a shame. Jonathan Williams takes the win in the Pro-Ams. Bradley Tidwell's coming over the line as well. Shrewsbury and Parfitt are literally...
He's giving it a go. No! It's a last gasp move. Oh, he's not done it.
Oh, he didn't do it, but he had a go.
That was putting it all on the line. Not really sure how he caught up in the first place, actually, but he very nearly got through there on Shrewsbury, who just about hangs on to third. That was a last gasp move. He's a long way back here. Goodness me.
He did. It wouldn't have been remotely clean. I think Shrewsbury did. You know what I mean? Did get through, but listen, he had a go. I'm not quite sure. I think Shrewsbury may have made a mistake there. That's why he was that far back. Daniel Marie wins the AMS overall. Clyde Comforts is there as well. Lovins has still not come over the... Oh, my dearie me. He's not going to make it over the line either. He's out of fuel. Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, he can't lose any more places because he's the last one on the lead lap now, but he needs someone to push him. Oh, the line's literally there. He's going to stop just before the line. Oh, no. Bradley Lovins. The hill is too much. Oh, the line is literally there. Push him, somebody. Oh no, that's
Somebody
Alan
give
Purser
him a
crossing the line.
nudge. Come on.
Well, he's going to need someone to come back round. Everyone's finished now, so he needs someone to come back round again and push him.
Who's in 15th?
Jeremy Cheney or something?
Marshall's close enough. Oh no, Cheney's
there.
Yeah.
Cheney. Oh, no, he's going in the pit
pits.
lane. Oh, help him out.
Oh, somebody get him over the line. All by myself.
Oh no.
Bradley Lovins.
Lito's going in.
Oh, dearie me. Poor old Bradley Lovins there, just not literally close up. I'm just going to move them guys out of the interview room just for a minute because we're on the wrong ring here. We're looking at Bradley Lovins who's sat on the line. And is anyone going to actually... Come on, somebody get him over. We've got... Otherwise, we've got to
they're
wait.
all coming in the pit lane. Go round again. Somebody... Oh, no one's going round again.
Oh, is there... Look, we can't even go to the results until he gets over the line.
But he's holding everybody up here, himself and us and everyone in between. Oh,
And
just
everybody's
someone
coming
go
in.
round.
Somebody give him a nudge.
Oh, no. Oh, Bradley Lovings. He's literally... I mean, he could get out and walk in about 2 steps over the line, but he's got no fuel left to just propel himself those final 2 metres. There's one more driver out there now. There's one more hope.
Who is that? 41st. Jeff Sepulveda. Oh,
Oh,
God,
he's
Jeff.
going to do it. Jeff Sepulveda. He needs to just get into the back of Lovings here. Don't spin him around, for goodness sake. And,
he's gone.
Oh, no, he's gone. He's disappeared.
Oh, he jumped back to the pits. Okay.
Oh, never mind.
Shame.
I think he was
I thought I
joking
was
his
going to get
14th
excited
person.
then. That was a great, interesting end, wasn't it? There you go. On that one. I'm just going to pop David Van Roy in general chat a minute while we try and deal with this one here as well. But let's bring you up the final results on that one. There you go.
Yeah, David Van Roy, the winner. We'll chat to him in a second. Jeremy Cheney, second, ahead of Michael Dion, who eventually finishes third. Josh Heron and Jonathan Williams, fourth and fifth, ahead of the second place, Bradley Tidwell, though the new championship leader he will be. Jeff Shrewsbury just about hung on from George Parfitt, and then Bill Backer and Pano Hanno round out the top 10. Dan Srovak, who we didn't speak any of actually in that race, finished 11th, that of Rick Modric, Mitchell Bowen and Bradley Lovings didn't quite get to the line, but he finished 14th and would have been on the lead lap. Nick Marshall finishes 15th, ahead of Daniel Murray, who wins in AM, ahead of Clyde Comfort, Heath Ollinger, Cameron Risley and Quintin Price round out the top 20. Price loses his Pro-Am Championship lead. JT Sawyer gets a bit closer to the Am Championship lead, but not quite close enough for the moment. He finished 21st ahead of Barry Acker. Then it was Jerry Mains, Mike Elliott on the 1 lap down list. Ryan Merriam got to the end 2 laps down, despite running very well early on. Scott Carlson finishes 26th ahead of Matthew Brennan, Brian LaPlaque, Kenneth Clodden and Damien Hoverton eventually finishes 30th, 3 laps down, as was Carlos Padilla. Alan Purser in the Lexus BMW finished 32nd ahead of Curtis Matthews, who was 4 laps down. Gary Spencer, the AM Championship leader, finishes 6 laps down in 34th ahead of Mark Bolton and Brian Dukowski, both 7 down. Jesus Gonzalez and William Bailey, 8 down ahead of Cole Modric and Jim Cunningham, who rounded out the top 40. Then Jeff Sepulveda, who we just saw go over the line, many laps down. Chase Hargrave, Brian Hoskins, and then Michael Champling and Brian Booker didn't start the race even. That was a very long list. And top of the list, indeed, was David Van Roy, who's been listening to us blathering on for a few minutes. So we'll finally chat to him now because we're in the wrong channel. David, welcome in. Good to have you with us. And congratulations on your race victory. A very close fought battle through much of the race, actually. It was a comfortable winning margin in the end of 4 seconds, but it was a fairly interesting race and eventful race for yourself. Just tell us a little bit about that final stint as you were just hanging on from Damien Hoverton in the Porsche.
Yeah, well, good talk to you guys. Yeah, I don't know what exactly happened there. I know Michael was ahead of me going into the pits, and so I don't know what happened. But coming out, I was in first, and I don't know where he went. So I don't know if he had technical issues or what happened there. And it was a good fight between me and Damien as well. I mean, we kind of went back and forth a little bit, and it was fun. It was really fun, and I'm just happy to be here because I will tell you that. Jeremy was closing in at the end, and it was all I could do to kind of hang on. And, again, Michael and Ryan and Damien, all super fast. I was just hoping for a top 5, to be honest with you. So a lot of fun, though.
Absolutely. I mean, you missed the last 3 rounds of the season. We obviously spoke to you about that before that you did, but we've had 2 weeks off as well. Was it a bit of an adjustment to get back into this series after effectively a month and a half away?
Yeah, it was super hard because I had to take apart the rig and then put it back together, and I decided to mess with the pedals, and then all of a sudden I sit in it, and nothing feels comfortable anymore. And so I've been fiddling around with it, and I think I've got it back to where I want it to be. But yeah, no, moving and readjusting everything is a challenge, to say the least. But I'm glad to be back.
The feeling it's very frustrating. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Hey, one more time, thanks to you guys for putting on a great show, and Mr. Bradley Lovings for taking care of all of us. I mean, he just does a fantastic job managing the league day in and day out. Just really, really great. And then last but not least, thank my wife for, even though we're still unpacking boxes and moving around and stuff like that, appreciate her allowing me to spend this Sunday morning with you guys.
Obviously, we do, as you say, thank Bradley Loving for organising, but nobody could offer him a push at the end. What's going on there? Anyway,
I would have done that, except that I ran out of gas on the closing, on the parade lap around. So otherwise I was stuck on the backstretch. So yeah, sorry, Bradley.
I don't think there was much fuel going around at the end, to be honest, between the lot of you. Congratulations on the win, David, and thanks for chatting to us as well.
Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks very much, David Van Roy, the winner of the race today. Ahead of Jeremy Cheney, I must apologise to everyone for ripping up this Discord, by the way, and putting everyone in the wrong channel. But
yeah, I've got them in reverse. They're in the broadcast booth. We're in the interview room due to a little bit of problems earlier on. I tell you what, let's go down. Jeremy Cheney, where was Jeremy? He finished in third. I want to Daniel Marie. We're going to have a chat with, because he won the AMS. So a quick chat with Dan before we go into the top three there as well.
Okay, fine. We'll do the class winners before the other podiums. Got it. Welcome in, Dan. Good to have you with us. And congratulations on AM victory here today as well. As a byproduct of that, I believe you'll take the championship lead as well. How was the hour at Bathurst here this morning?
Oh, man, I'm dying right now. I was not happy at all coming into this for the practice session. And somebody said something about just wait until we get the tires going and get some grip on the track, and you'll start pulling good lap times. And that's exactly what happened. As soon as we got some heat in the track and some rubber on the road, it just planted itself in the ground, and I just tried to stay out of trouble.
You are the only Mercedes in the field as well. How do you assess that in terms of why have you selected this and why has nobody else? Does it sort of hold you back in a way because you don't have anyone to sort of bounce ideas off, or does it help because you're sort of on your own doing something that nobody else is? What's it like being the only Mercedes in the field?
So that's what got me on the last season there, trying to get through all those races, is just not having anybody else to rely on or depend on. And I finished that up and just asked, like, hey guys, anybody want to run a teammate or something so we can figure something out? And just nobody's racing the Mercedes, but I think I finally got it dialed in this season, and I think we're going to have a really good season this time, and we're definitely going to be number one the whole way.
Well, it's certainly started well. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before I let you go?
Yeah, definitely. My wife, she has been on me the entire time, just everything she can do to help out. And there's been several races here where she sat here the whole time and even worked the keyboard, so I didn't have to worry about my pit stops or anything. So she's been phenomenal, and I greatly appreciate everything she's done.
Congratulations on the win here in AM this morning, and we'll hopefully see you next week.
Thank you, sir. I do appreciate it, guys.
Thanks very much, Daniel Murray there, the winner in AM. Let's go to Pro-Am next, because Jonathan Williams is there now too. Welcome in, Jonathan. Good to have you with us. And congratulations on Pro-Am victory here this morning. Tell us a little bit about that race and how you managed to get top spot.
I don't know. I mean, I practiced the crap out of that track for the last couple of weeks. Stayed out of trouble for the most part. Broke my car with like 5 laps to go before the pit stop, so I had to stay patient, not wreck.
Yeah, it's a story of many people's race, I suppose, trying to stay out of the walls, and it's very difficult to manage, of course, as well. I mean, you mentioned a lot of practice needed at this circuit. Was it a circuit you did finally get to grips with by the end, and did you enjoy it, or was it one of those rounds you were looking forward to seeing the end of?
No, I seriously enjoyed it. Me and Alan Purser are pretty good buddies. We practiced this thing for like 2 or 3 weeks, nonstop. Unfortunately, I wasn't as fast as I was during practice. I was running like 103s and 104s in practice. Couldn't do that today.
Sorry, did you chat to Alan during the race, by the way?
Oh yeah. Alan's actually the president of the company I work for. So yeah, we're talking the whole time.
Okay, I was just wondering because he had that big crash at the end. So I was,
how was that?
was he shouting and screaming down the microphone,
yeah,
or
he
what was
was.
going on?
Yeah, well, he told me. I guess Carlos or somebody in front of him had wrecked. He had a big mishap in the pits when he was sitting in the pits thinking they were fixing the car. He's out of whack. He wasn't in his pit box. Cost him a whole bunch of time.
Yeah, not ideal. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Oh no, just my wife and Alan. Once again, Alan's pretty much the man who got me doing iRacing, and he's taught me a whole bunch.
It's good to have you here. Congratulations on the win here this morning, and thanks for coming to chat to us as well.
Thank you. I appreciate what y'all do.
Thanks very much, Jonathan Williams, the Pro-Am winner. Now let's do some other podium drivers, shall we, while they're here. Jeremy Cheney finished second in the end, just 4 seconds off the win. Let's bring it. Oh dear, nearly moved myself out. Let's bring him in. Welcome in, Jeremy. Good to have you with us. At second place, just 4 seconds adrift from the win, as I say. How do you assess that result in the end? A good second place for you?
Yeah, I'm happy with it. Definitely don't think I deserved it on raw pace, but we kept it clean, kept out of trouble. All the lap traffic was rather nice to the leaders, so yeah, good race today.
And staying out of trouble is indeed the one of the biggest objectives around here for sure. I mean, what was your thought going into this in terms of how it was going to be? We've got 45 on the grid, 43 ended up starting, and by the end, I'm sure it felt very busy in certain parts of the circuit. Was it what you were expecting, this race?
Honestly, expected lap traffic to be a little bit heavier for the leaders. It seems like everybody kind of spread out a little bit. Like there was pockets and packs, but it wasn't nearly as busy as I thought it was going to be.
Oh, that's good news for you, I suppose. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
You guys for doing an awesome job, Mom and Dad, and the boys that put on the league.
Thanks very much, Jeremy. Congratulations on second place, and thanks for chatting to us.
Thank you. Have a great day, guys.
Thanks very much, Jeremy Cheney there, second place in the race ahead of Michael Dion, who finished third. Welcome in, Michael. Good to have you with us. And, of course, leading after the first stint, third at the end of the race. Is there a feeling of disappointment that you didn't win this one?
Yeah, lots of disappointment. But, honestly, only in myself, I made the mistake.
What happened there at the pit stop?
Yeah, I foolishly didn't account for that going into the pit box, the pit stall 1, it's a bit of an uphill drag, and I was timing my fuel to be exact. I was trying to pull a Van Roy, and it didn't work out. I was about 2 foot short from the box when the car died, and that was all she wrote. I had to tow.
And so for the rest of the season, you must be positive that you were very quick. Obviously, the result didn't quite get to what you were hoping for, but you must be pleased that you were very quick.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite tracks. I love this track, and I feel like my pace was there. I did nick fastest lap there, last lap, which was great. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. There's some other good tracks for me on the list. I think I got a top 3 this year. Although I said that last season, and we saw how that worked out. But I'll give it a go this time.
Absolutely. Is anyone like to give a shout out to before I let you
go? Bradley Lovings and the rest of the OGRL admins. I appreciate everything they do, keeping the league going and running strong, and I just appreciate the hard work.
Well, congratulations on a podium here this morning, Michael, and thanks for coming to chat to us as well.
Thanks, gentlemen. Have a good day.
Thanks very much, Michael Dion there, the third place driver in the field today.
Does not sound a happy bunny, does he?
Well, no, but then again, I suppose positive is on the podium, but just less so that it's a story of what could have been maybe for him. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of those stories as well at the end of this round of the championship. It's been round 7 of the OGRL Coffee Cup. A good race here at Bathurst as always. It very often is, but I'm sure plenty of drivers will be pleased to see the end of this round.
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite interesting, actually, because we've got Jeff Shrewsbury saying that was a blast. I've had George come running in the office already, and he was like, Dad, I was like that close. I was like, George, That was not a good overtake. You could not have kept it even if you wanted to. So he was dead excited. He said it from a long way with Jeff. So him and Jeff having a nice little thing there towards the end. But I'm glad Jeff was all good about it. But much love to everybody who's come out on YouTube chat. There's been so many, and chat's been going well. So much love to you all. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on the bells. That'd be absolutely amazing, Mr. O'Leary. Look forward to race number 2. It's going to be exciting.
It certainly is. Race number 2 is going to be at VIR. We'll be live again, same time, same place next week. There's actually 4 broadcasts this Sunday on the JPB YouTube channel. So if you want to subscribe and check those out as well, then you're more than welcome to. Me and James on some of them as well. But a big
3
thanks
of them,
for you.
actually, Mr. O'Leary. We're on 3 of them.
Yeah, we're both doing 3. Just not the same 3, I don't believe. But anyway, that's...
yes, we are.
Oh, we? Oh, okay.
We're here as a couple, Mr. O'Leary. I've got you for the
far too much time with each other this afternoon. It turns out.
My wife will wonder what the hell's going on. So there we go.
So if you want to tune in and whatever, then make sure you subscribe to the JPB YouTube channel and tune in a little bit later on this evening over in European time. Anyway, and in the afternoon if you're over in America. Big thanks to everyone who's kept us company this afternoon, though, or this morning, depending on where you've been. I've been Ewan O'Leary alongside James Parfitt, and until we see you next time for the next round of the OGRL Coffee Cup live from VIR, it's goodbye for now.